Hello, hello. How are we, guys? Good friggin' morning. Hold on, let me just mute that over there. How are we? Happy friggin' Sunday. Happy Sunday. Hello, Macabre. Hi, Collective. Hi, Aaron. Blood and Bruise. Good morning. Deadwalk. I keep forgetting to turn off that shit. I forgot to turn off my yeah, there we go. Always something I forget. Deadwalk, how are you, James? Good morning. I hope everyone's had a great weekend. I know, Deadwalk. I don't understand this. But anyways, happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. But anyways, happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. Is that? Oh, there we go. No wonder why. Ew. I got it. I figured it out. It's been a chaotic morning. I'll tell you that. How you doing, James? How is everybody? Hello, Dawn. Yes, like I was saying, happy Mother's Day to everyone out there, even the daddies who pull double duty as mother, or if you're a fur baby mom. Happy Mother's Day. Sunday, today is our double feature. We are going to be discussing Frankenhooker, which is one of my most favorite Frank Henenlotter films. And we're going to be discussing Basket Case. So we have quite a bit of information for you on both films. So we're going to try to keep it with our hour and a half constraint so I don't go over like I usually do. Hey, Gore, I gave my PC a hug and told my motherboard I loved her. Aw, that's what you need to do. Happy Motherboard Day. Nanette, hello, good morning. I finally bought my mother-in-law. Oh, very cool, Don, very cool. I want Frankenhooker on VHS. No, Frankenhooker is expensive on VHS. Very expensive, just like a few other movies I know. They're like $100 for one VHS. It's insane. I should show you my VHS collection, James. It's not as big as yours because I only collect primarily VHS horror. Mind you, I've got like Spaceballs, Young Frankenstein, Roger Rabbit, Labyrinth on VHS. But yeah. Someone call the squirrel police. Ra's going to swerve. I am going to swerve. I am. Basket Case, another cute movie. Yeah, Aaron, Basket Case is quite interesting in itself. Super interesting. It's quite funny. He's so sweet from the bottom of my heart. Oh, very, very good. Frankenhooker is one of your comfort movies? Oh, yeah. Frankenhooker, Patchwork. I love Frankenstein monster type films. So Lisa Frankenstein, when I seen that, I fucking fell in love with Lisa Frankenstein. I know people like to shit upon Lisa Frankenstein. I don't understand why. Did you not understand that going into this film, it's a coming of age creature feature monster movie? I don't know what people were expecting, but I thought it was fucking fabulous. I loved Lisa Frankenstein. They paid homage to Frankenstein's monster beautifully. So I don't know why people shit upon Lisa Frankenstein. I thought Lisa Frankenstein was amazing. I've seen it 6 times. I listened to the soundtrack. It's part of my weekly playlist on my soundtrack. So, hey, Twisted Bunny, Basket Case's cheese horror. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Let me just get that going here. All right. Sweet. I've watched Lisa Frankenstein a few times as well. I liked it, right? I thought it was a good movie. I don't know about you guys over on YouTube. Did you guys see Lisa Frankenstein? Did you enjoy Lisa Frankenstein? I know I did. I really enjoyed Lisa Frankenstein. Thank you, James, for your 10 stream streak. Thank you so very much. Here's Fusa. Fusa is coming to wreck things, turn off stuff, and yeah. Show you her butthole if she's allowed to, because she's showing it right now. Thankfully, my camera is kind of closed down. Oh, okay, that's good. That didn't go off. Dylan, thank you for your 46-month resub. Thank you. Wow, holy shit. 46 friggin' months. Why is that not? I think I have it on my other one. Not really. Lost my mom last year to cancer. That sucks, Twisted. I'm sorry to hear that. Cancer is a shitty, shitty thing. I lost my Mr. Chico to cancer in April. So I definitely get that. Perfect. I like Lisa Frankenstein enough to recommend it to somebody I knew who would love this movie, and I hardly ever recommend movies to people. Pictures that should tell you how much I enjoyed it. Nice, Nanette. When my brother worked for a recycling company, his boss was named Judy Frankenstein. That's pretty fucking cool. Everyone, I'm doing good over here, Speedy. How are you? And thank you so very much, Dylan. Seriously, thank you for your 46-month resub. I do greatly appreciate it. I really want to watch Deep Red by Dario Argento. I love Dario Argento. I love giallo films. They're great. Giallo is its own genre in itself, man. Thank you very much, Dylan. Thank you. I need to pick up Lisa Frankenstein. It's on sale on one of the sites that you get your digital movies. Right on. Right on. I love Lisa Frankenstein. I think it's such a great... Oh, what the hell is going on here? Oh, there we go. I think it's such a great movie. I think a lot of people need to see it. It is a coming of age creature feature is what it is. So when you hear coming of age, obviously not rated R. I don't know why people didn't like it. But anyways, films like Lisa Frankenstein, Frankenhooker, Patchwork, Reanimator, all these films pay homage to Frankenstein's monster from 1931. Now, it is such I love that genre of creature features. And I call them creatures because they are reanimated flesh, usually stitched up flesh, like in Patchworks. Patchworks, if you haven't seen Patchworks, it was released in 2015. Definitely plays a huge homage to Reanimator 1985. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to highly recommend it to you. It is not a family fun film. Okay, just put it to you that way. It was fun to watch. Super packed with nostalgia. Oh, right, Blood and Blues. Super nostalgic because I grew up in the 80s and the film touched everything in the 80s. From the Sports Illustrated phone. I mean, come on. If you were born in my time, then you know about Sports Illustrated and the phones that they used to have. You've been playing Fortnite Billie Eilish? Oh, interesting. Fusa, you're knocking shit down. I can't see chat. Fuck. Rock out, how are you? Good morning, Moon, Kirby's, Joshua. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to some of you. Those nonstop ads for those phones, right? It was pretty funny. Pretty friggin' funny. All right, now everybody is here. We're going to get into Coffee Chat of Horrors. I've got quite a bit of information for you guys, so we're going to try to start this a little bit earlier than later. So here we go. Fusa, you're in my way. Hold on, guys. Fu is in my way of doing everything because she's a pain in the kitty booty.
Who likes scary movies?
All right, calm yourself.
And coffee.
The following show is based on research on horror movies and what goes on behind the scenes of your favorite scary movies. Horde Entertainment or Reanimateher is not responsible for the macabre and horror that you are about to witness. Viewer discretion is advised.
Ah, yes, that disclaimer. I love it. That voice where you hear, do you like movies and coffee or horror movies and coffee? That was made by my buddy, Nerdy Hillbilly. Just wanted to give him a shout out. For those of you that don't know, that whole disclaimer was made by me and Nerdy. It's my voice doing the disclaimer, and it's Nerdy's voice opening up, asking if you like horror movies and coffee, which I had to do a big shout out. Also, another big shout out to Reaper 1923 for helping me create these beautiful little picture infographics here that you see every time I have Coffee Chat of Horrors. Reaper 1923 is the creator of those. Thank you, Twisted. Thank you. Hi, Tucker Tony. How are you? Yes. Okay. So, one second here. It's not a game. See, I always know there's something. I'm missing something. All right, let's rock and roll. Good morning, Daywalkers. I am Reanimateher, your queen of scream, and this is Coffee Chat of Horrors, the only live horror talk show that takes its coffee like it's magic, and that is pretty black. Today's screams come from the twisted and perverted mind of Frank Henenlotter. It is our double feature here on Coffee Chat of Horrors. We are going to discuss Frankenhooker from 1990. And then we're going to head into Basket Case from 1982. Yeah, Basket Case. So buckle up, ghouls, as we traverse the realms that our nightmares are made of. And Frankenhooker's 1990 release, directed by Frank Henenlotter, written by Robert Martin and Frank Henenlotter. This movie stars James Lawrence, Joanne Ritchie, and Patty Mullen. Patty Mullen is so friggin' awesome. If you ever get a chance to meet Patty Mullen at a horror con or a convention of any sorts, I'm going to tell you, make your way to visit her because she is pretty friggin' awesome. She has such great stories, so definitely check her out when you do. Super Crack, that poor guinea pig. So the taglines for Frankenhooker is a terrifying tale of sluts and bolts, which, let me tell you, I love that tagline, a terrifying tale of sluts and bolts. I thought it was pretty funny. And then the alternate tagline is got any money, which is on my shirt here because I am wearing my Frankenhooker t-shirt. I friggin' love Frankenhooker. So those taglines are funny. Yeah. So the plot goes a little something like this. A medical student sets out to recreate his decapitated fiancée by building her a new body made of Manhattan street prostitutes. Budget was $2.5 million, and at the box office, it only brought in a sad $205,068. Yes, you heard that right. $2.5 million budget, and only brought in $205,000. Ouchies. This did not create the amount of money that the production cost. However, Frank, going into this, knew it wasn't going to be a box office breaker. That is a lot of money. And yeah, want a date? Got a $5. It's such a fun movie. And Patty Mullen only says a few words over and over, right? Like she says the same words that all the hookers say when she's put back together. Manhattan prostitutes. Couldn't they splurge for Vegas prostitutes? No, because this was all filmed in New York. Frank does a lot of his filming in New York. Like Uncle Lloyd Kaufman does a lot of his filming for Trauma in New Jersey and in New York. It just has that more rough atmosphere than like Vegas. When you think about Vegas, you think about gambling. So a lot of the mafia movies about casinos and all that are created there. That's got that atmosphere. When you think of New York, you think of the grimy, tough atmosphere of New York. And it really shows in the films that are really created in New York. Jason Takes Manhattan was filmed in Vancouver. And so you can definitely tell it definitely was not New York. It was way too fucking clean. When I mean that, way too clean on the last few things. Try using a mobile device to view comments. Oh, comments are hidden on. Oh, that kind of sucks. So if you're on my TikTok and watching CCOH on TikTok, for some reason, the TikTok chat is not working. Ra has interesting facts about the prostitutes. I do. 42nd Street, my friend. 42nd Street was huge back then. We are going to take a look at the trailer, guys. So give me 1 second here. And this is the trailer for Frankenhooker.
In 1931, the world was horrified by the motion picture Frankenstein. In 1935, horror turned to terror with The Bride of Frankenstein. In 1990, the makers of Basket Case and Brain Damage bring you...
Want a date?
Frankenhooker. Jeffrey Franken has a plan.
I just want to bring her back, Elizabeth.
He has the ingenuity.
I need female body parts.
He has everything he needs, except the raw materials.
Just hold still. Excellent. Oh my God. Bunyan.
Yeah, I don't know why OBS wasn't playing it.
Jeffrey's creation is alive.
Looking for some action?
Oh, yeah.
She's sexy.
Want a date? You going out?
I'm on my way home, but thanks anyway.
And she's sutured to please.
Listen, I'm looking for a very tall, attractive woman. She's purple. She's got fresh scars on her.
She's in the bar.
Now a motion picture like no other. A tender story of love and romance.
Want a date?
A gripping tale of lust and revenge. Frankenhooker.
Incredible.
Some assembly may be required.
Really weird why OBS wouldn't show you the trailer at first. It popped up for me fine. So yeah, that is Frankenhooker. I have some strange shit going on with OBS. For some reason, I had to refresh the browser source. Hello, Draven. Hi, how are you? Hi, Zach. Thank you for letting me know, because I didn't see it that you guys couldn't see it. I don't look at that monitor. That monitor is on my left-hand side. I'm always looking towards my right-hand side because that's where all my information is. And yeah, I had to refresh it. So hopefully that doesn't do anything when we do our next trailer. Some assembly may be required. Yeah. Frankenhooker is really huge homage to Frankenstein's monster and Reanimator from 1985. And if you've ever seen Frankenhooker, then you know the scenes that come from, or the visuals that come from Reanimator 1985, especially the main characters and what they look like. So hello, that's a good watch. Yes, it is, Beard Nation. I don't know why my chat on TikTok is not working correctly. There's lots of shenanigans going on today, guys. So I do apologize if I'm not seeing your chat over there. Deadwalk, would it be a Reanimator stream without the fuckery, shenanigans, and gremlins? I don't think so. All right, so this film, Frankenhooker, took 12 years to make. When Frank was creating this film and writing the script and working with people, he had no idea really what this was going to be about. He just knew he wanted to make a movie in this format. So he pitched the idea to a couple of people before the script was even fully written. It was just an idea. So he pitched the script. Most did not want to touch this they just didn't want to touch it. So it took quite some time to get it from, writing it to getting backing for it, then, trying to get it into film and, distributors. It's kind of hard. And back then in the 90s, people weren't really taking risks on low budget horror. Frank Henenlotter is amazing because all of his films are B-grade level films. Hello, Costos. Richard Linkletter, eat your heart out, right? Lightning bolts not included. Just like the tagline. I thought the tagline was pretty friggin' funny. Okay, so let's do here. So the film was initially referred to as Frankenstein 1990 to avoid controversy because of the name Frankenhooker. The minute people kind of hear the term Frankenhooker, they automatically are just like, yeah, no thank you. So it was hidden under the name Frankenstein 90. So if you ever see that, if you're ever looking for Frankenhooker, you'll see it as also Frankenstein 90. It was just a way for Frank to get his movie out there, to get things going. Because, yeah, when you hear Frankenhooker, I mean, we think it's friggin' hilarious. But when you're a distributor or you're looking for backing or production, most of the times, Frankenhooker. Now, I do want to say one of the kings of B horror movies recently passed away. If you do not know who Roger Corman is, please educate yourself on Roger Corman. He is a revolutionary producer and director. There is tons of films that Roger Corman was associated with. Obviously not these films, but I just wanted to put it out there. He passed away at the age of 98, which, if you're not familiar with Roger, he has a school for, in movies, for creating movies, making movies, and it's the Roger Corman School. If you watched The Last Drive-In, was it... earlier this season, they played their Roger Corman special where they actually interviewed Roger Corman on stage. And and very awesome, very sad indeed, but he lived a great long life. So I just wanted to put that out there. Rest in peace, Roger Corman. Good morning, Basement Cat. And he helped lots of actors and directors yes, he did. He started a lot of careers in Hollywood. He was the king of B-grade films. He taught the industry a lot of information, a lot of what it knows now. And a lot of these filmmakers creating low budget horror, because he was the king of that, learned from Roger Corman. Again, if you don't know who he is, go to Google, type in Roger Corman and see what he's created. He's produced many, many movies, and he's directed quite a few. He has hung out with Vincent Price. There's so much this man has seen in his lifetime. In his 98 years, he's seen a ton of information. I do apologize again over on the TikTok side of things. I don't see any chat for some reason. It's saying that it's not working. So, yes, if I don't respond to you, I'm not being a biatch about it. So back to Frankenhooker. Budget constraints led to the use of an unlicensed pyrotechnician for the exploding scene. There is an exploding scene with hookers in prostitutes in the hotel room, motel room that they're in. This is definitely hilarious. This is going to be a spoiler. So if you haven't seen Frankenhooker, there is a scene where the blowing up of prostitutes happened because they take what they thought was drugs, and after a little bit of fun partying, these bitches started blowing up, and it was quite impressive, all of the pyrotechnics. Now, they had a very small budget for this film when it was first going off. 2.5 million sounds like a lot, but for what they had to do, it is not a lot. They were not able to hire a licensed pyrotechnician to do the scenes with things blowing up, so they had to bring on someone who's unlicensed, which could be quite scary to do. I need to get my hands on this drug, right? Hi, Carlos. Enjoy your leg placement. She is being a biatch. Don't let her lie to you, right? I just love being a biatch. No. Okay. So the opening scene here is from a movie. If you haven't seen it, it's called The Brain with an Eye. In the beginning is inspired by the advertisements for the brain that wouldn't die in 1962. So when Frankenhooker opens up, there's this eye and brain and things going on. That is definitely from The Brain That Wouldn't Die. If you haven't seen it, definitely check out the 1962 film. You will enjoy it if you haven't seen it. And if you like low budget monster kind of creature feature films, definitely check it out, especially if you're new to horror and you haven't really got your feet wet in the elder classics. This one, The Brain That Wouldn't Die, definitely check that out. There's also The Bat, 13 Ghosts, and House on Haunted Hill, which are all older films that made way for our new films today. It is a total classic, exactly. So for those of you that are trying to get your feet wet into horror, and maybe you've only delved into a little bit of the 80s and current horror, I'm going to tell you to go back and check them out as well, because they are great. So like I said earlier, Frank, the writer and director, had to improvise the basic story at a pitch meeting because the script wasn't done. So he sat down in front of people who were potentially going to give him money to create this film, and there was no script for it. So he decided to, on the fly, create what he can. And that, again, there also caused a little bit of issues. Like I said, it was 12 years in the making. 12 years in the making. Would this film would have done better in the 80s? I don't know. It might have. But, yeah, I don't know. Hello, Nadra. Hi, Parker. How are you? Did you guys know that Bill Murray endorsed this film upon its release? He actually told people to go and see Frankenhooker. He told people to go see Frankenhooker. He actually liked Frankenhooker. I thought that was quite funny to have a star at his level endorse the film. It does have more of that 1986 gritty feel. It does, but then I can also see that it wouldn't have heavily been inspired if they did it pre 1985, right? Because that's when Reanimator came out. And if you take a look at this film, I'm going to tell you what parts are on par with Reanimator. I'm going to show you some of the things that are in this film that were directly to Reanimator, and you can see the connection between both of these films if you've never caught that connection before, which if you're a fan of Reanimator like I am, you probably caught on pretty quick. Now, the interior of the Franken family garage intentionally appears 4 times larger than the exterior. They did this on purpose. They wanted you to see the inside of the lab, and the lab had to have like everything. It had to have the reanimation table, the deep freeze that had some kind of liquid goo that helped create the reanimation of these women. So he was throwing all these body parts in the deep freeze like he was a serial killer, because technically he is a serial killer out for, using it as science. He filled this large deep freeze full of body parts that he wanted to use, and this liquid that was really strange and that would help, configure and reanimate the bodies. It's been a while. Oh, hello, Parker. I was here right after the Mixer move. Yeah, I miss Mixer, Parker. I think we all miss Mixer. We do have an ad break incoming here very, very soon. In about 5 seconds, I got my notification. So as soon as that pops up for the ad break, we'll scroll a little. But yes. Now, they struggled to find, and here's the hooker part. They struggled to find actresses willing to disrobe that were in part of SAG. Now, Frank's first movie in SAG, which is like a union for actors and actresses, this is his first movie in SAG. So when you have a movie in SAG, you have to hire SAG unionized workers, right? And it's supposed to protect the actor and the actresses and et cetera from unfair BS that happens, right? That's why we had that strike earlier, SAG-AFTRA strike, what was it, earlier this year? I think it ended earlier this year. Bill Murray always did. Bill Murray always whatever he wanted. That's why he became an icon. He is an icon. All right, we've got an ad over on Twitch side of things, so we can squirrel away. Yes, rock out. It will be missed. Hey, Ace, how are you? Good morning. Good morning. Wow, we would put together like almost 5 years of following. Probably, Parker. Probably. I've been creating content and streaming for 7 years, and the majority of my community has been with me for 7 years. Does it blow your fucking mind? I have people that have been here every friggin' stream, and I say every stream for 7 years. That's fucking dedication. And I would not throw that away for anything. So it's pretty friggin' cool to see that. I love Jeff Goldblum. I love Jeff. He's awesome. Am I the only one who likes the Last Drive-In is only doing one movie now? No, I'm enjoying it. Ace, how are you doing today, my friend? Hello, sailor. Why do you got to call out my slacking? Love this Danny DeVito ad about Jersey Mike. Oh, is there a Danny DeVito ad? We do have an ad over on Twitch, so we're just gonna squirrel a wee bit. It's detected that live chat didn't appear on your screen in the last 2 minutes. Try using a mobile device to view comments. TikTok is being very strange today, and I don't know what's going on with it. But welcome back over on the Twitch side from the ads. We are back. Thank you very much for coming back and not leaving. But like I was saying earlier, they were struggling to find actresses willing to disrobe. There's a lot of nudity in Frankenhooker, like frontal. There's a lot of nudity in this film. And so they were finding it hard to get women to disrobe. So Henenlotter recruited strippers from a topless bar, resulting in SAG membership for each of the women. The scenes featuring Jeffrey. So the whole motel scene where you have a whole bunch of prostitutes in there. They're all strippers, and they were paid according to their level of nudity. So those who were willing to bear it all, of course, got a higher rate of pay than somebody who was just willing to do bare breast, which is, yeah. And they all became SAG members, whether or not they went into the Hollywood side of things and actually stopped stripping to go to Hollywood. Regardless, they became SAG members. And which is quite hilarious. Frankenhooker involves nudity. Fork found in kitchen. Oh God, tons of nudity in Frankenhooker. Yeah, like tons. So there's another scene with prostitutes that you see now. There's a scene where Jeffrey is searching for prostitutes. He's in his vehicle and he's driving by, and you see all these women. These are real prostitutes on the street. Now, these ones didn't become part of SAG because they weren't involved with it. But he's driving in his vehicle and he's on the search for prostitutes. That was filmed in now what we call Tribeca with real sex workers. So they were out and about, soliciting their stuff, and they're driving by. So they utilized the raw nature of New York in that time, which played off really well. So that scene is definitely an iconic one. That one's so funny. It is, Joey. It definitely is. Frankenhooker comes with boobs and butts and hot dog. Yeah, boobs and butts. No, I don't remember seeing any male nudity, but there is definitely a ton of female nudity, which I'm not opposed to. The MPAA initially rated this film S for shit. I'm not kidding you. I am not kidding you. They rated this film S for shit. Later on, giving it an X rating, leading it to an unrated release. They had to trim to get it down to an R-rated version, was released alongside the unrated edition. So there is an unrated version of this film. Usually it's on the DVD. You will not catch the unrated version on television at all. However, you will be able to get it on DVD, Blu-ray. Now, I find it funny that they did S for shit, because that's fucking hilarious. S for shit. Oh, you were just saying hot dog, like hot diggity dog. Ace, thank you for your 7-stream streak. I appreciate you. Isn't the whole SAG thing was why they only used Playboy models in erotic thrillers in the mid-90s? Most likely, macabre. Most likely. And again, this is Frank Henenlotter's first SAG film, right? Before, his films like Basket Case was not part of SAG, so he could use whatever and anything he wanted. It sucks that the MPAA, I don't like the MPAA. They really just need to stop censoring our shit. If it's a rated R movie, it's a film that has sex and nudity in it, obviously it's going to be 18 plus, right? So I hate when they remove things, because some of the kick-ass visuals have been chopped up and away from some of our films. Hell, Monster Squad had 13 minutes cut, right? So, yeah, I don't like the MPAA. Now, there is a hooker talk show scene, and we were talking about this in Discord because we watched Frankenhooker Thursday night in Discord, and I, of course, was sitting there giving some, information and references to these things, because there's a ton of references. Now, if you grew up in the 80s, you knew of Morton Downey Jr. If you don't know who he is, he was a loudmouth TV host, and he hosted on the Morton Downey Jr. show. And there's a scene where it's a hooker talk show, and that is literally a parody of Morton Downey Jr.'s show. And it's quite funny. It's hilarious. And this is a short little scene inside this movie. But if you did not grow up in the 80s, you probably would not know who Morton Downey Jr. is. He's a very loudmouth guy. And very controversial topics, more than Maury Povich, like way out there. Like, I know you guys know Maury and Jerry Springer. I would say the Morton Downey Jr. show was a little top higher than those two involved. Corporate bullshit, scared of NC-17. I agree. The Superstation out of New York. He was the original trash towel. Yes, he was Morton Downey Jr., man. Thank you, Basement Cats. I appreciate it. Hi, the Alpha. How are you? Good day. Good day. If you are just joining us on TikTok, YouTube, or Twitch, we are discussing our deep dive into Frankenhooker by Frank Henenlotter. This film was back to back with Basket Case 2. So Frankenhooker came out and then Basket Case 2 came out, and they did it on New York City's Pier 40. So they were able to film back to back scenes for Basket Case 2, which we're going to be discussing Basket Case 1 after Frankenhooker. I lost my 26 stream. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry, Draven. Mr. Morton Downey Jr. made Povich. Oh, God, yes. He was, like I said, the original trash TV, like Macabre was saying. Given, thank you for the follow. But yes, Regal lost a 57 stream streak. Yeah. Hello, Jamie. How are you? All right. So the bar's name, there's a bar scene. So the bar's name is Huevos Grandes, which translates into big eggs in Spanish, with a slang meaning of big balls. Yeah, I thought that was quite fun. So Big Balls Bar. That's what Huevos Grandes. So I thought that was funny. Now, Patty Mullen's role as Frankenhooker marked her first starring role. And then she did a couple of other movies, and then she disappeared. She disappeared from the movie scene for quite some time, reappearing later on in the 2000s. And she just started making her way through the con circuit, which is very surprising because this movie put her name in highlights. This is her first starring role. That should be my code name. That's funny. Huevos Grandes or Big Balls, Aaron, which one? This movie, if you've seen this movie, you know there's not a lot of blood and gore. Well, I wouldn't say blood and gore on the level of like a slasher flick. There is gore where body parts are being chopped up and people are blowing up. Sure. But people complained. Audience people complained about the excessive bloodshed. I'm sorry. What movie are you watching? Like, Frankenhooker had its shit, man. Frankenhooker, it did. It had exploding hookers, chopping body parts, lawnmower scene, where Elizabeth gets her head, cut off and her body so mangled. But I did not think this movie had nearly as much bloodshed or gore as, like, Dead Alive. Or any other film that, came out prior to Frankenhooker. I want to start the con circuit now. Definitely, Jamie. Definitely start the con circuit. Tell me you've never seen Monty Python without telling me you've never seen Monty Python. Right. That's also another one. So silly. And if you guys are watching over on the YouTube side of things, make sure you hit that like button. If you're not subscribed already, please do so and share this video out. When you guys share my content on YouTube, it really helps me grow and gets my name out there. YouTube's algorithm is very hungry. So the more you comment on my VODs, the more you share, the more you like my stuff, it actually pushes me out, unlike any other platform where Twitch, you only make it on Twitch is during your live streams. However, on YouTube, you make it with your VODs. My lives do okay over there. However, I really do well on my VODs. And I really do appreciate you guys doing all that liking and sharing of my content over there. I fear it's because it's tied to the nudity. Maybe. I don't know. But the screamiums will kill ya. Thank you, DJ Inferno, for your 18-month resub. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. How are you doing today? There we go. Typical America, blood and gore is okay, but nudity isn't. Oh God, no, nudity is still a huge taboo over in the States. And now with the younger generations wanting to remove nudity altogether from horror, I honestly think that's kind of ridiculous, because It's nudity. It's part of human nature. People are gonna have sex. People are gonna do drugs. So why censor it? Thank you, Jamie, for sharing the live on TikTok. Same, another platform where your content grows if you share and like and comment. The more you share and like, I am. Every time. Oh my goodness gracious, Filth Pig, thank you so much for using your Amazon Prime gaming over on Twitch and sacrificing your soul for 2 months. I appreciate it. Thank you. TikTok might not be in the US much longer. I've heard about that. I heard about it being banned. Okay, we're squirreling here. We are squirreling. But yes, I do want to thank you, Inferno and Filth, for sacrificing your souls here on Twitch. Your contribution to my content on a monthly basis helps me create what we create here. Between upgrades on my PC, video games, and more, your contributions help. Even on YouTube, memberships help so much, and your stickers and all of those things that you guys monetize help this channel grow on every level. So I thank you for all of your hard-earned money that you guys send to me every month. I appreciate it. YouTube and Twitch is my primary income, and my Ghoul Shop and Patreon for my content. And it's because of you guys I'm able to do such things here, like Coffee Chat of Horrors. So thank you very, very much. Hi, Seasonal. How are you? How are you doing? Yeah, they have until January to sell. Oh, do they? Thank you for the sub hype, Ed. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Okay. Like I said, excessive bloodshed from audience. I don't think so. I don't know what the hell you're watching or what you've watched beforehand. However, that didn't happen. Oh my goodness, Seasonal, thank you for flashing us them tig-ol biddies. For those of you over on the YouTube side of things, tig-ol biddies, what I call them, they're actually biddies or cheers. It's another way of monetization, like super stickers here on YouTube. And Seasonal just flashed us. You're good. That's great, Seasonal. It's so good to see you. It's not going to get banned because of all the court challenges, First Amendment violations, left, right, and center. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Or it will be banned in the US. I don't know. I think nudity needs to be involved in things, and same thing with drugs, because it's all part of human nature. Talking about previously about nudity in horror films, how the younger generation wants to remove it from their films. And I think there's a time and a place for nudity. I'm not saying every friggin' horror movie has to have tits and bush, because it doesn't have to. However, removing it altogether from horror, I think kind of lessens everything and the scariness of it, because picture the Elvira's gift, right? Usually when we're on a regular game night and somebody does tiggle biddies, Elvira comes out doing her tassels. It's really great. Oh, you're talking about TikTok being banned. Yeah, a lot of TikTok content creators in the US are going to be very sad. Tits and bush were stepping stones. Exactly, Seasonal. And I'm all for equal opportunity nudity. I am. If you can see tits and ass of a woman, you best be able to see the dong of a man. Cherokee Creek is one of my favorite low budget creature feature Sasquatch films where they actually do equal opportunity nudity. You see full frontal male, full frontal female, and if you haven't seen Cherokee Creek, I'm going to tell you, try to find it. It was banned off of Amazon Prime. Yeah, it was banned off of Amazon Prime, and there is a Coffee Chat of Horrors. When I used to do interviews with directors and actors, there is an interview with the creators of Cherokee Creek, and it was one of my best Coffee Chat of Horrors ever. It was so friggin' funny. Definitely go and check it out if you haven't seen Cherokee Creek. You might be able to find it. It is quite hard to find because it has been removed from places like Amazon Prime. Jugs and dong. Yep. I'm good with no random shower scenes, but yeah, I'm still very okay with nudity. I'm I would prefer equal opportunity. I don't like TikTok and feel like it's not good for kids especially, but that is the job of a parent. Exactly, that is a job of a parent. And there's more stuff on YouTube that would be more not for kids than TikTok. TikTok doesn't have any sort of nudity, sexual stuff. That's all gone. Back on track. Yes, I'm right. I've got a long CCOH that I have to get done in an hour and a half. Okay, so you know how when movies wrap up, production directors will hand out gifts saying thank you for your hard work on a set? I really wish I was on this set because Frank Henenlotter gave fake breasts to everybody as parting gifts to the cast and crew. Hi, Donnie. How are you? Nudity can be important to horror depending on the plot and style of movie. Nothing more vulnerable than being completely naked while being attacked by a crazed killer or monster. I completely agree with you, Phil. Like I said, nudity is good in some films. Not every friggin' horror film has to have nudity in it. It doesn't. But being naked is definitely a vulnerable time for somebody, especially sharing such an intimate scene. You know what I mean? Can you imagine being murdered while doing the nasty? How was this gift given? I am intrigued, right? I gather he just went over there and said, thank you for your hard work. Here's a tit. But I thought that was quite cool that he handed out fake breasts as parting gifts, saying, thank you for your hard work. Here's a boob. Thank you for your dedication. Here's a boob. I would have loved to have that in my collection. People like, where's that tit from? This was a parting gift from Frankenhooker. If I could ever find one, if anyone's ever selling one, I would so do that. You get a boob job and you get a boob job. Everybody gets a boob job. Talking about boobs, there's a place here called Cowboys. Cowboys literally pays for all of their females to get breast implants. Yeah. Man's boobs? I don't know if he handed out man's boobs. Death while being rock hard. Yeah, that's gonna hurt. Yee, right? Imagine forgetting you had a fake boob as a souvenir, forgetting it, then finding it years later. I want to see what these fake boobs looked like. I thought that would be really cool. I don't know what these fake boobs looked like either. Whether it was one of the fake boobs from the set, because there was quite a few fake boobs cut off, right? You guys remember, if you've seen it, you'd know those scenes. Now, the song Never Say No underscores a scene featuring hookers and drugs, and you do see that playing in the motel scene, and then all the bitches blow up, which is quite funny in itself. All of Patty Mullen's lines as Frankenhooker are all previously spoken by the prostitutes. If you didn't catch that, where all of her lines, you know, want a date, got money, all of those lines the prostitutes were saying throughout the night or throughout their career, right? So when he put her back together and reanimated her with all prostitute all prostitute body parts, that is the words that kept coming out of her mouth. Now, this film has also been said that it's also a feminist film. I don't know. I just think it's fucking hilarious, and I love the twist at the end. Just body parts everywhere. Enough pieces together. Exactly. Enough friggin' pieces. Okay. So in the beginning, we see Elizabeth played by Patty Mullen. She is a more heavier set girl in the beginning of the film. She's fully clothed from head to toe in long sleeve and long pants. However, Patty was also a model, and she was very thin and very in shape, let's say. So for this role of Elizabeth, before she became Frankenhooker, she wore a fat suit underneath her clothing. So she looked a little bit more, you know, chubby in certain areas and more conservative and covered up. Her Jeffrey wanted her to lose weight, and you can see that when she talks about her body and all of that in the beginning of the film. And so hello stripper milk, so then he decides to go look for strippers for a few reasons. They're hookers for a few reasons, because most of them are thin, big boobs, right, and they won't be missed, which in a lot of true crime, unfortunately, hookers are the primary victim because nobody cares for them. And that's how people see them, which is wrong. Very wrong. Okay. So Jeffrey, and remember I told you this plays homage very big time to Reanimator, and I'm going to tell you why here in just a moment. Jeffrey Franken's resemblance to Dr. Herbert West from Reanimator 1985 is noted in both appearance and name. So when you see this movie, Jeffrey, okay, he looks like Dr. Herbert West. From the glasses to his hair, the way he's dressed. If you've seen the Reanimator from 1985 starring Jeffrey Combs, right? So he plays the Dr. Herbert West, the mad scientist that wants to reanimate things and bring them back to life. In this film, Jeffrey Franken is the same, basically. He's a mad scientist who wants to reanimate the love of his life, is a mad scientist for that matter, and he looks like Jeffrey Combs from Reanimator. Big glasses, the hair, just everything about him. And if you haven't seen it, now when you go to see it, put that into effect if you've seen Reanimator. Didn't pick that up until Rob mentioned it in the movie night. Yes. Well, I'm sitting there and I've seen Frankenhooker a million fucking times, as well as Reanimator, because they are my favorite films. And I'm able to pick up on these things just by watching, because the amount of times I've watched both films. And so I kind of figured you guys might enjoy that little, tidbit of information there, but you would have had to seen Reanimator to understand that. And because there are so many scenes that are pulled from the movie Reanimator, especially Jeffrey's look, right? Now, the name Elizabeth, her last name is Shelley, which pays homage to Mary Shelley, the author of the original Frankenstein, which is a great book and turned into a movie in 1931. Jeffrey's surname is Franken, and it's a play on Frankenstein. Obviously, this film is a big homage to Frankenstein's monster. We have Elizabeth Shelley, we have Jeffrey Franken, we have Reanimation, we have Nuts and Bolts and Lightning, right? I thought it was it's such a fun friggin' film. Thank you guys for all of the fun stuff over on Twitter. Now, also, this film contains references to Frankenstein all the way to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. There's a lot of references in this film, and you may be able to pick them out depending on what you've seen previously and how many times you've seen this film. But yes, there are references to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I don't know if any of you pulled that out, but there is. All right. Now, that is what I have for you guys for Frankenhooker. Let's see. Am I on time here? Oh, fuck yeah, bud. 11:51. We're doing good on time. So now we're going to dive into the bizarre world of Basket Case, which was released in 1982, written and directed by Frank Henenlotter. Now, this film is not part of SAG and one of his first films. Thank you, Deadwalk. Right? So Basket Case was released in 1982. If you haven't seen it, it's a super low budget film with a puppet. Belial. Now, this monster is kind of gross looking, and there are a few games that I've actually played in the horror realm that have a Belial kind of looking monster. One of the games in particular is Malum, a multiplayer horror game, and one of them is like one of these nasty creatures that come around that you have to battle against, looks like Belial. So I think that was heavily inspired by. I'm good. It's Mother's Day. I'm not getting any business today. Basket Case is a great movie. Okay, so the plot of Basket Case. A young man carrying a big basket that contains his extremely deformed, formerly conjoined twin brother seeks vengeance on the doctors who separated them against their will. Yes, this movie is about twin brothers who were separated, and it's this blob called Belial. Yeah. I have a question. Is there monsters having babies? How many kids they see in the third of Basket Case? Do you remember this movie? Yeah. If you haven't seen it, we're going to watch the trailer right now. Hopefully this doesn't mess up an OBS for you guys. So give me just 1 second to get the trailer together. No, nobody said to play, goddammit. Nobody said to play. All right. Let's see. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Hey, Nags Pie, how are you? It is cheesy. It is definitely cheesy.
What is the secret Duane is hiding in the basket?
What's in the basket?
Some of the tenants claim to have heard noises coming from this room. Like someone on a rampage.
What's in the basket?
You're that kid Needleman warned me about, the Bradley boy, the freak we separated.
I know an awful lot of guys, Duane, but you're different. What's in the basket?
What's in the basket?
What's in the basket?
My brother.
Open it, if you dare. Basket case.
Oh, basket case, basket case. Let me just put this down. Yep, that's basket case for you. What's in the basket? Yeah. Guys, if you haven't checked out Basket Case, please do. There's some funny fucking scenes in it. Lots of practical effects and puppetry. Nags Pie, you said you saw the new Omen and Damien in theaters. You didn't like it? Oh, I fucking loved the first Omen. I thought it did a really good job tying in all the other chapters of the Omen. Thank you, Monkey, for the re-sacrificing of your soul for 39 months. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Mwah. I appreciate it. 39 friggin' months. Oh no, the bub's freaking cute. What's in the basket, right? Right? Oh, your live may contain themes not suitable for a younger audience and has been age restricted. That was TikTok. Which is so funny. Oh my Lord. Hilarious. Happy Mother's Day. Well, thank you very much, Monkey. I appreciate it. I just meant I thought the pacing was so blah. I mean, I just felt like I knew the movie. See, I didn't have a problem with the pacing of the movie. I liked it. I liked what they did. I love the fact that we got to see where Damien came from, because you always hear where Damien came from in the first, second, and all of them, right? I really liked how they pulled that prequel and created more of a story of how he was created, because that was always, when I watched Omen, that was one of the things on my mind is, well, okay, we know he's a jackal, but how was this fucking happen? How does this happen? How do we create the Antichrist on Earth? And I really like the way they portrayed that. I will agree with you, Nags, on Night Swim. WTF, right? We watched that in Discord and I was just like, yeah, this is some shit. I really didn't care for Night Swim myself. I think it could have been done differently. I think if it was done differently, I think it would have hit better, in my opinion. Killer Clowns is definitely fun. Draven, you should watch my Killer Clowns from Outer Space deep dive over on my YouTube channel. I think you might like it with all the behind the scenes stuff. Okay, back to spending time with your mom. Have fun. I have to get your thoughts on what they're doing with The Exorcist. I saw the new trailer for the sequel. I'm confused on the direction. I think they might be separating itself from the newest Exorcist. I can't remember the full name of The Exorcist, the new one. I suppose that's true. They definitely shouldn't have showed the jackal. Yeah, that was kind of weird. Night Swim, yeah, Night Swim. I understand Night Swim is more of the water lore, especially in Asian culture. However, we have an ad over on Twitch, so it's okay to squirrel. However, I honestly thought it should have been made differently. And then I think it would have been a little scarier for the movie because it is based on a water demon mythology and lore. I think they should have done it differently. That's just my opinion. And it probably would have been better. I don't know anybody who really enjoyed Night Swim, to be honest with you. I was here for it, but she hasn't. So I'll definitely share with her for sure, Draven, for sure. Yeah, they did. They messed that up completely, I think. Hey, Mischief, how are you? Basket case? Yeah, I know, Nags. I know. I think it could have been much more, in my opinion. Now, we are going on Basket Case if you're just joining us. The taglines for this movie is, "Its mother conceived it. You won't believe it. What is the secret Duane is hiding in the basket? Open it if you dare." And the tenant in room 7 is very small, very twisted, and very mad. Those are the taglines for this film. Now, I have no box office information for you. However, the budget for this film was $35,000, and Basket Case was filmed in 16 days. Basket Case, and Frank Henenlotter, for that matter, is considered a masterpiece of exploitation cinema, which Frank Henenlotter does do. All of Frank Henenlotter's films are exploitation cinema, and they're great. They're great low-budget films. $35,000 to create Basket Case. That is a super low budget, and I don't have any box office information for you because that was so hard to find. I couldn't find anything on box office, so it probably did that bad. I've been reading about a film I want to check out, a Pin, about like a dummy weird fam. Interesting. Yeah, 35,000 and 16 days, filmed in 16 days. I mean, you don't really get that. Most films aren't filmed in 16 days. Now, the film's budget was the entire wad of cash shown in the scene where the protagonist checks into a hotel. So we have the protagonist, the big brother. He checks into the hotel, pulls out a wad of cash. That wad of cash is literally the entire budget in his hand. Yeah, in his hand. The starting of the film was about $16,000, half of which was the director's life savings. So this is one of Frank's first films. And again, the budget was so tiny for this. Half of this was funded by his own money. And I thought it was crazy knowing that the wad of cash that's pulled out is the entire film's budget. I thought that was pretty crazy. So the crew used inventive methods to stretch the budget, including dumpster diving for set dressing. So again, New York City, dumpster diving, grabbing whatever they can to create the set, create what they have, the practical effects, the puppetry, everything. So again, this was a shoestring budget, $35,000. It's not a lot of money when you come into the movie realm side of things. $35,000. Not at all. Maybe $35,000 to have just to blow around. Sure, that's a lot of money, but not when making a movie. The budget should have gotten a movie credit, right? Dumpster diving, highly underrated for props. Oh yeah, dumpster diving for days. These people did, and the crew was so tiny. The crew was tiny. It was a very small crew, even with actors, very small. Exactly, eccentric, recycling and saving the planet. Make low budget films. So many credits at the end of the film are fake due to the size of the small crew. They only had X amount of people on set, cast, crew, everything. And so a lot of the names at the end of the credits are fake. Yeah, I didn't know that until I was deep diving into it. Puppetry for Belial, the deformed twin in the basket, was performed by the producer's 8-year-old daughter after the puppet shrank. Yeah. So the producer's 8-year-old daughter was Belial. I thought that was quite funny. Kevin, who is also the protagonist here, provided the voice effects for Belial, and also provided a face cast for the puppet. So it would sort of kind of look like him because they're supposed to be conjoined twins. So they had to make sure they had Belial kind of look like his brother. So, and I thought that was hilarious about his 8-year-old daughter. New York City plus dumpsters equal to 10, right? Yeah, at least. And Lady the Basket Case, the third, is Lady Would Love from a Different Monster Puppets. Oh, okay, Don. Let's switch there. Frank Henenlotter was initially surprised by the film's success, which has since become a cult classic. He was just making a film just to make a film. He wasn't expecting it to go anywhere. He wasn't expecting it to become a cult classic, but this is a cult classic, especially when it went home to video. Basket Case made a name for itself on home video. Most of these films from the 80s and the 90s made it from home video. Monster Squad is one of them. We found that Monster Squad, especially VHS, because it didn't do great in theaters. Same time, we knew that The Lost Boys came out 2 months before Near Dark, and Near Dark didn't make a huge cult classic until it went to home video. So you had 3 films that come out within months of each other. You had Lost Boys, Near Dark, and then Monster Squad, and they didn't make names for themselves until the VHS time. And the same thing goes with Basket Case. It didn't become a cult classic until it hit home video. The idea for the film came from brainstorming unique movie titles, and they wanted something that wasn't done before. They didn't want to reuse names. They didn't want to have anything. So what they would do is they would search. Now, mind you, they didn't have Google back then. So they were looking through all of the records to find names that have yet to be used in Hollywood for a film. And then they came up with Basket Case. Now, if you type Basket Case into Google, you get a whole bunch of other stuff other than the movie Basket Case. So if you're going to do Google, type in Basket Case 1982 because a whole slew of other crap comes up and not the movie. Well, at least for me here in Canada. Our Google is going to be different than the United States and anywhere else in the world as well. Believe that. So there were some unauthorized shots and filming locations. So there's a scene with the Statue of Liberty. That is an unauthorized shot. By the time they were finished shooting it and being told that they had to leave the area, the shot was already done. So they didn't have to spend any money on permits. So now when you're creating a movie, you have to buy things like permits and licenses to film in specific locations. And these locations are predetermined. So you have to pay money for that. That's also part of the filmmaking budget, especially if you're not using a pre-made set or a soundstage. So you have to go and get permits to utilize these areas. And they decided, you know what, we're just going to go balls out. We're going to film here. It's a short shot. By the time anything is said, we'll probably be done. And which is exactly what happened. It was a short scene. By the time they were done filming it, they were escorted and told to leave. Hello, Dante. How are you? You're probably going to get that Green Day song. Now, the original distributor attempted to market the film as a comedy by cutting out the gore scenes, but they were later reinstated for a re-release. And this is what happens when you get money from people who don't want to have any gore in their films. Producers hold all of the creative control. They tell you what they're going to allow and what they're not going to allow. Hence where a lot of these big movies that get bought by New Line Cinema, Paramount, Miramax, yada, yada, they control the money so they can control the creative ideas. If they don't like it, it gets removed. If it doesn't get removed, you lose your funding, right? So when you have production companies, especially bigger production companies behind you, or a production company that wants to make a name for themselves in the industry, they have all of the creative control, which sucks. This was re-released with the gore in it. So if you see the original is not as much gore, but you can see another re-released version of Basket Case that has even more gore than the original. Film critic Rex Reed famously called Basket Case the sickest movie he'd ever seen and, quote, featured on the movie poster, which it is. the sickest movie he'd ever seen. And to have someone say that this is the sickest movie, there is a scene with Belial and SA in this film. I thought it was hilarious. Not the SA part, but just the whole scene together. It's a friggin' puppet. And it's insane. Yeah, it's insane. You'll have to see the movie to understand it. I hope you're doing good, Zach. Now, due to budget constraints, they were not able to have like camera dollies and other fun stuff. So you know how Sam Raimi created the visual of the entity, the Deadite, while it's not in human form, fast and moving around. He used a 2x4 to get that done. Well, due to constraints of budget, a wheelchair was found and used as a camera dolly for tracking shots. Yeah, a wheelchair. Again, another dumpster diving precious find to help them do tracking shots. The same way as Sam Raimi did in Evil Dead, where he grabbed a 2x4 and he was doing his stuff with that. Wheelchair for basket case for all the tracking shots. So when you watch the movie, if you watch it for the first time, even if you rewatch it just to get a refresher, you get to see that. Now you'll know that the tracking shots were done on a wheelchair. I'm glad you're doing good, Zach. Movie critics back in the day were bitches. Oh, God. And horror was hated. Hated. Basket case, Frankenhooker, just any kind of low-budget film also from back in the day was frowned upon because of the imagery or the storyline. It's quite funny. Hello, Blood and Popcorn. Old school filmmakers were the mothers of invention. They really were, because they had to come up with things. Some of these items were not readily available. Some of them didn't even exist until they were created. And when you're on a low budget film, Evil Dead was low budget. When you're on a low budget film, you're trying to save money in places that you can save money in. And so, like I said, if you don't have to buy a permit or a license for a filming location, you're just going to do it. Same thing here for camera dolly. I can't imagine how much one of those things cost, right? And now a wheelchair does the same thing. Good old 80s satanic panic. Oh, God, yeah, Draven. During that time, yeah, even music was considered to be, it's so funny how the world is and how the world changes and where we are now. Pretty insane. But yes, it's a great movie. I definitely need to tell you guys to go and watch it. And we are on effing time, guys. It's only 12:10. So happy. The church I grew up in played music backwards to scare people with it. There's a lot of things people did back in the day to scare people. Ridiculous. By the way, isn't Belial the name of a demon? I'm not too sure. Stop the Killer is making a basket case board game. That's hilarious, Erratic. How are you? Stop the Killer. Basket case is on US Tubi. Yes, Frankenhooker might be on US Tubi as well. I own Frankenhooker. We watched a digital copy of it in Discord on Thursday night. I am fabulous, Erratic. Belial is one of the 4 demon princes. There we go. So Macabre Tavern said that Belial is one of the 4 demons. There's a ton of demons, and depending on where you're looking in what culture, they're all different names. Not a video game basket case, but a board game. What horror movie don't you own? Oh, there's quite a few I don't own that I've been trying to effing find, especially a lot of the indie ones. They're hard to find. Yeah, they make a board games based on horror movies. It's rad. That's awesome, Erratic. That's great. Which is why I love indie filmmakers are amazing. They do everything in their power to create their films, not just have a passion for that film, but they do everything and anything. Vincent DeSanti is one of my favorite indie film creators and producer of Womp Stomp Films. They do a lot of Friday the 13th fan-made stuff, which I'm excited for because we need more Friday the 13th. Anyways, back to Belial here. That is what I have for you guys for a Coffee Chat of Horrors. And in conclusion, the Coffee Chat of Horrors double feature of Frankenhooker and Basket Case offers a thrilling journey into the realms of of cult horror cinema. Through the grotesque yet captivating narratives of these films, viewers are immersed in tales of twisted desires, revenge, and the macabre. Frankenhooker dazzles us with the dark, comedic take on mad science and the consequences of playing God, while Basket Case grips audience with its gritty portrayal of sibling bond and monstrous vengeance, which it does. Together, these films serve as a testament to creative ingenuity and enduring appeal of independent horror cinema, leaving viewers both shocked and entertained long after the credits roll. I do hope you guys enjoyed our double feature of Frankenhooker and Basket Case. I'm going to highly recommend that you all go and watch both of these films. Hello, Kiro. How are you? Demons are not usually mentioned in the KJV Bible, which is used in most Baptist church, but Belial is one of them, named one in the Old Testament. A double feature, CCOH, done in under an hour and 15 minutes. That is a friggin' record, Deadwalk. I know. Less squirreling on CCOH today. I had a lot of information that I wanted to get done as a double feature because Basket Case by itself doesn't have a lot of information on it. I scoured the internet. I actually looked at some of my DVDs that I have of Basket Case just to see if there was a director's commentary attached to it, and there wasn't. Frankenhooker, same thing. I actually went through interviews with Patty Mullen from a couple of magazines online, and I pulled some information from her interview. I was trying to find some of the behind the scenes stuff on the body parts and how they made them, but there is nothing out there. So it was a bit pain in the ass, but I wanted to condense all the information I had into a double feature, so it does bring us an hour and 15 minutes. I'm a fan of squirreling. Squirreling is fun, but when I need to get in a lot of information in a short amount of time, I really need to not squirrel so much. But I like my squirreling. I love our conversations that we have. And we still have some time to squirrel here because it's 12:15. I'm not done till 12:30. So we got 15 minutes to bullshit. I have to get your thoughts on what they're doing with The Exorcist. I saw the new trailer for the sequel, and I'm very confused on the direction because the new trailer, The Exorcism, they're going a movie within a movie route. I haven't seen the new trailer, so I really can't give you any direction on that. But I do know that Russell Crowe is doing another one from the Pope's Exorcist, right? Squirrel. And then I gotta be a pain in that Roz's ass. Yeah, but you know, Regal used to do the same thing. Regal would harass me to wear my glasses because I would never wear them and to stay on track. Back in the day. We have a few more Sundays of CCOH, guys, before the season ends. So we have the 19th and the 26th with the very last CCOH, I know, boo hiss, on June 2nd. So June 2nd will be our very last CCOH of the season. I hear that. I hear Regal's chicken call. By the way, Deadwalk. And then we'll pick back up in the fall. There is a ton of international horror that I will be doing in our next season of CCOH. So we're going to be diving into international horror films as well as some of the underrated films of the 80s and 90s. So if there is a film that you want me to deep dive, please recommend it to me. You can recommend it to me over on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, comment on a video, say, hey, please look at doing blah, blah, blah. Near Dark was recommended. I mean, it was on my list, but it was recommended by Feed Me Movies over on YouTube. They wanted to see a deep dive into Near Dark, so I put that on my list. I do have one that we're going to be discussing that Pixie, the Lament Butterfly, has also recommended. By the way, Pixie is out of surgery. She is doing good. She's feeling pretty good. I just figured I'd give you guys a heads up on that for those of you who know Pixie. And I think our next, let's see what's going on here. I think our next CCOH is going to be Eyes of Fire. I don't know if anybody has seen Eyes of Fire, another underrated film. We have this one again, Eyes of Fire, was recommended to me by Pixie, the Lament Butterfly. All right. So that'll be our next CCOH deep dive. We have some information for you on that one. The next one we're going to be looking into was another recommendation. This will be the next one. Will be called Innocent Blood from the director of An American Werewolf in London. So we're going to check out a couple, like I said, underrated films that you probably haven't seen yet. And if you haven't seen it, make sure you're in my Discord, because every Thursday night, if I'm doing a movie on CCOH that people haven't seen, I play that on Thursday nights for you guys to get an idea before you see CCOH of WTF is going on in this film. So we will be watching next Thursday. We will be watching Eyes of Fire from 1983. And then after that, Innocent Blood. We also have The Addiction from 1995, Murder Set Pieces, The Blob from 1958 and 1988 as well. So my lineup, that is my lineup for the next couple of CCOHs. We're also going to be discussing and deep diving The Brood. Again, I prefer to give you guys movies that are underrated than the mainstream horror. Everybody knows about Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, I can regurgitate everything that you guys have already heard and seen on whether YouTube channels or what I've already discussed previously on like my many years back CCOH. I want to be able to bring you guys information on films that you may not have seen, broaden your horizons in the movie realm to see more than just what we currently see. And that's why I'm diving into next season international. That's going to be the theme of next season CCOH, is our international horror scene. So we're going to be doing quite a bit of that as well. Raw digging up the hidden gems. Yeah. There's a ton of underrated films like it that people haven't seen. Near Dark. I know tons of people that have never seen it. Meanwhile, that film has been out for a long time. And it was such a great vampire film, mixing romance and Western and vampire lore all together. Ginger Snaps is a great movie, Canadian made film. Werewolves. There's, oh my God, Speedy, French horror. I love French horror. I will be making a list of French horror movies for my YouTube channel. I was recently asked for a recommendation list of French horror, so I will be creating that video this week, giving you guys my top list of French horror. But I'm diving into Asian horror, French horror. There will be Turkish horror. So we're going to get out into the Middle East as well, because every culture has horror. And if you haven't seen any Middle Eastern horror, their shit is good. A lot of their horror movies are based on lore and mythology, just like with Chinese and Korean and Japanese horror. A lot of their horror is based on their lore and legend and myth. Same thing. Now, in Pakistan, there's a production company there that does movies, kind of remakes North American movies like Scream and other ones. So we're going to dive into international horror. I'm going to be helping Reaper 1923 get images and things for this, because there might not be a whole hell of a lot on it. Brotherhood of the Wolf is a great French. Yes, it is. Yeah, Where is another great film. Have you seen Where? W-E-R? Train to Busan is a favorite of mine. Yeah, Train to Busan is a very mainstream zombie film. Almost everybody has seen it. Yokai, supernatural film from Japan. Nice, Kiro. I did an interview with an indie filmmaker once that did a horror movie based on the Quran. Yeah. There's tons of different horror, international horror, and I can guarantee you some of the films that I'm going to be discussing with you guys, you have not seen. Unless you have gone out to physically find these films, they're not mainstream. They're not mainstream movies in North America at all, unless they've been remade by a North American director. But for the most part, the ones that I'm going to talk to you about you're not finding the mainstream horror in the United States or even in the UK. These will be films that are big in their country. So I want to try to bring that realm here to us on CCOH. I covered the Poltergeist movie Mischief Maker many moons ago. I think it's on YouTube. YouTube gives me a hard time with movie trailers, man. I believe it's on YouTube, Poltergeist. I did a deep dive on that as well. Hello, Big Wild Blue. Werewolf had ran 2 seasons in the late 1980s and was aired Fox from 87 to 88. I'm getting into a Nordic horror lately. There's some really good movies, macabre. Yeah, many moons ago, Mischief Maker, I did highlight a lot of mainstream horror. We did Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Nightmare on Elm Street, Nightmare Before Christmas. We did Poltergeist. Oh, Lord, we did a shit ton on Christmas horror. But yeah, I've been slowly getting away from mainstream horror. No, I don't, Big Wild. I got into a bit of a zombie binge and watched a bunch of different zombie films. Think there was a French one. There is a few French ones. And there's a really good one, 28 Days, which is British, where we are getting 28 years later, maybe is the name, but we are getting it. And some of the original cast and crew from the original 28 Days Later will be involved with the 28 years later. I'm really excited about that one. Excited for Terrifier 3? Terrifier 3, yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm going to see it in theaters. I'm really getting out of mainstream horror. Found my passion for indie horror again. Well, I'm glad you did, Macabre. I love indie horror. It's what I primarily watch. I love Tubi in Canada for that because we have a lot of indie horror here in Canada on Tubi.tv, which is friggin' great. As long as it's not La Horde, because I found it extremely disappointing. Devil's Nightmare. Yeah, Tubi.tv has a lot of independent films in Canada. It's a really great way. And the reason why is because in Canada on Tubi, well, Tubi TV, and as it is, pays people pays the filmmaker, like you heard me talk about 1BR when we had 1BR on. They were saying how you get paid per commercial, per view, as an independent filmmaker. So that actually helps you out. And in Canada, we have licensing and CRTC because we have to have X amount of Canadian-made horror. And a lot of horror is made here in Canada. A lot of movies are made here in Canada because it's cheaper and tax breaks, yada, yada. So our Tubi does have a shit ton of indie horror films, especially in the horror genre, which we love here. Regs, how are you, Regal? I want to be excited. I know, Deadwalk. You want to be excited for it. I want to be excited for it. We'll see. We will see what happens to 28 years later. Speaking of BTC, right? Here she is. I have no idea, Custos. No idea if there is. But yeah, I agree with you. Tubi is pretty friggin' awesome. I mean, not to downplay mainstream horror, because look at Smile. It started off as an independent, and then it got big production money, and now we're getting Smile too. I really enjoyed Smile. You mean Terrifier, another independent production that now is getting big money. We have a lot of films that start out as indie, make it on the festival film circuit, right? And then they get big money behind them. Look at In a Violent Nature. All right. In a Violent Nature, it ran through the film festival circuit. I'm hearing people puking and all some shit. I want to see images of these fucking people puking. Please, please. I need to see this because I haven't seen anything yet that has made me feel ill to my stomach enough to fucking puke in a movie. But I need to see this shit. In a Violent Nature, I'm hoping it's not being too hyped up because hype ruins a movie. There was a lot of hype around, like when I first watched Martyrs. Okay, Martyrs. Let's talk about this here. When I first seen Martyrs, it was so effing hyped that I was disappointed. And so I've learned not to follow the hype because movies are hyped up and they do these marketing tactics to get you so excited and want to see the movie that when you see the movie, the hype does not compare to the movie. And it aggravates me. The Osmonds Christmas special, that's a scary one. That's main reason I help out as much. I'm a judge on a pretty big in a film festival I do too. I'm a judge on them. And so in my spare time, I watch indie films and I rate them, which is fun. Film Freeway. I do it for a few different places. So it's quite a bit of fun to actually see a lot of this horror movies, a lot of these horror movie shorts hit the festival circuit. And they're voted on and judged on by a group of judges. And that's how they make it into the circuit. Which film festivals I highly recommend you guys go and do. Seriously. Calgary HorrorCon has their own film festival. And I go to it every year. It's June 15th to the 17th of this year. And they're going to have a really cool another film festival. That's where I learned about the movie Framed, Spanish horror that I highly fucking recommend. It's gore-tastic, and I highly recommend it because I found Framed. It was released in 2017, but didn't hit all film festival markets until about 2019. And I seen it as an opening in a film festival. It's a great fucking movie. But I do try do some online ones. Yeah. But money for travel is my bane. Yeah, I do it online. I don't travel. So I'm part of Film Street, which is also where people submit their indie films. I wonder how The Black Phone 2 is going to be, in my opinion. It doesn't need a sequel. It doesn't need a sequel at all. It doesn't need a prequel either. We know what it's about. But I thought The Black Phone was good. I loved Ethan Hawke. I love how he portrays evil. Daybreakers is a great Ethan Hawke film. But let's stay on time. Let's stay on time here. And we are there at 12:29. If you're watching me over on TikTok, thank you so very much for taking your time out and coming in and watching us. I appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend over on TikTok. I will slash you later. Now, here on our YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, we're going to go into our credits and my thank yous for you guys. Thank you very much, Deadwalk. I can't believe we actually made it on time. It blows my mind. But yes, I do appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy weekend to come over here and hang out with me, whether you watch me over on YouTube or you watch me over on Twitch, or if you just hang out on my TikTok. Thank you guys so very much. And those of you on Twitter, I know you're there. I know you're there. Thank you for watching me on Twitter. If you ever want to be a part of the live discussion and you're watching me on Twitter, come over to the Twitch or the YouTube side of things and you can be a part of that conversation. If you missed anything of Coffee Chat of Horrors, you'll be able to catch the VOD that has chapters giving you specific areas of the video so you can watch without the shenanigans or the squirreling. That'll be up directly after my live is done. I love your face, Nadra. Thank you very, very much. Why isn't my credits aren't working? So there's that. Thanks for keeping me entertained while I redid my VHS. No worries, James. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. Macabre, Blood and Popcorn, Moon over Miami, Blood and Bruise, Aaron, Dante. Let's scroll up here. Deadwalk, thank you very, very much. Aaron Ruiz, I appreciate you. Carlos, The Collective Gathering, Tucker, Tony, Kirby's. Thank you guys. Nanette, Blood Rose, Horror Nightmare. I appreciate y'all coming over here and hanging out with me. Monkey Van Meowerton, thank you for your 39-month resub. Seasonal Secrets, thank you for flashing us them tiggle bitties, as well as Filth Pig with their 2-month resub. I appreciate it. Fear Inferno with their 18-month resub. Thank you guys so much. Dylan for your 46-month resub. Thank you guys for your stream streaks. I really do appreciate it. It's something awesome to see. Regal, I hope you have a great day. Thank you, Moon. Thank you. Have an amazing weekend, guys. Thank you, James, Nadra, A, Sailor, Donnie, Eccentric, Regal Oncer, of course, Don, Deadwalk, Kiro. Let's see who else is up in here. I go by the last people who were chatting. Custos, thank you for being here as well. I hope you all have a Big Wild Blue, Mischief Maker, Filth Pig, Thank you, Speedy Misha, as well. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all you human mummies out there that have human children and all you fur baby mommies out there. Happy Mother's Day. It takes just as much to keep a fur baby alive as it is a human. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thank you so much for everything. I will see you guys Monday night. We're going to dive back into Destiny 2 Monday night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Eastern if you want to come on over and hang out. I will see you guys Monday night. I will slash yous all later. Bye.